Hey there, Taurus. It's Keaghan. Welcome to your December 15th through the 22nd general reading. I'm focusing in mostly on energy for this reading, so it's not necessarily a love reading. In some of the readings that has come out, others it's just been focused very much on the sign, so I just want to let you guys know that up front. As you can see, each card has been assigned a very specific meaning. I'm just going to shuffle through the deck as I'm talking to you guys, and then you do have the moon that just flipped out reversed. Just want to let you know that. I'm going to shuffle through as I'm chatting, and then I'll pull your overall energy and get 2 guidance cards for you guys. This is for Taurus Sun, Moon, Venus, and Rising signs. Crosswatchers, you're welcome to watch this video. Just know that I am focusing very much on the energy of Taurus. So for this reading, you would either be given insight into what Taurus is going through, or because I do set the intention that this reading's for the people who watch it, you might find that this reading just resonates for you and your own life. So keep that in mind. Okay, I'm going to give this deck a cut. From the bottom of the deck for your overall energy. Hope you guys have been doing well. I can't believe December is almost over. Next week, I will be doing the final readings for December, for 2019, for the decade. It feels very much like lots of endings are happening. And it's coming out in these energy readings as well. There's been a consistent theme so far in all the readings that I've done about closing things out, having things come to a conclusion, really giving thought to what we're taking with us, what we're leaving behind. So let's see what wants to come out for you. I'm going to pull from the bottom of this deck for here, and then right off the top is going to go here. Okay, so we're ready to do the reading. I'm going to turn this little overlay off since you guys have had a chance to see what the cards represent. I will walk you through and mention again what each card is representative of as I'm working my way through it. We're actually going to start here with this, which is your overall guidance and advice kicking off the week. So we have the moment I embrace my peace within and surrender. The outcome is, I always read this one so wrong. The moment I embrace my peace within and surrender the outcome is the moment that the universe can truly get to work. So let's talk about this card a little bit. Before I dive into it, I just want to say some of you have seen me do readings like this before. Some of you haven't, because I have a ton of new subscribers over the past couple of months, and I haven't really done a reading like this probably since late summer, early fall. So I will talk about the meanings of the cards, but a lot of this reading is going to just be energy. It's going to be intuitive reading for me based on the energy that I'm feeling. So I'm going to spend a little bit of time talking about this, and then we'll move on. What I find really interesting about this is the cards that are within this oracle deck have been coming out. All of the cards that speak to surrender, they've been coming out in the readings, and you guys have another one. So this particular card speaks to surrendering the outcome. And I love when this card comes out because it gives me an opportunity to talk about something that we tend to do that gets in our way. So in some situations, I'm just going to use one that's very common for people who are watching my videos. They want someone to reach out. They want someone to communicate. They want someone to forgive them, to be willing to open up a dialogue, to take another shot, okay? In those situations, there are a couple of things that get in our way. Number one, we're connected to a very specific person. We want this particular person to be the one to reach out. We want this particular person to be the person who we have this connection with. And that person may or may not be the best person for us. Okay? So what you can do in that situation is you can say to the universe, look, I want to feel loved. I want to have a healthy relationship. I want to have a partner in life. I want to be able to share things. I want to have someone that I go to sleep with at night and wake up next to. And I want you to provide me with the absolute best person that fits that. The person that I have the best chance of having a truly deeply connected relationship with. Now, in that situation, if it's that person that you in your mind ideally want, if they are the best person for you, the universe will say, okay, well, you want the best person, here they are. But if that person isn't the best person for you and there's someone else who's a better match, there's someone who has more potential, then the universe at that point can bring that person into you because you're surrendering the outcome. You're saying, I want a good, healthy relationship. I want to be happy. I want to be in love. I want to feel loved. I want to be able to build a life with someone. Bring me the best person, universe. And you're limiting the universe to, you either bring me this person, even if they're not the best match for me, or don't bring me anyone at all because I want this particular person. At that point, the universe can only say to you, okay, well, here they are, but it's not going to work. Or they just keep them away and they try to protect you from something that the universe knows, your guides know, your angels know is not necessarily ideal for you. So this is very interesting energy because for Taurus, earth signs in general, you guys can be a little bit stubborn and you can get fixated on a very specific outcome and what you feel is the best outcome for you. But oftentimes we have the potential for outcomes that are much better for us and we just can't see them because our mind and our energy is so fixed and focused on one particular outcome. So keep that in mind as you're going into this week. Okay. Now let's take a look here. Now that we've talked about this potential energy that's there for you. Okay. What's getting in your way of being able to fully do this? What's getting in your way of really being able to embrace peace and surrender specific outcomes so the universe can support you? Okay. So the card coming out getting in your way, you have the 10 of Cups coming out reversed. Okay, you guys are going to be argumentative during this reading. That's fine. So the 10 of Cups represents a disconnected, struggling relationship. It could represent a breakup, but it definitely it represents a situation in which what maybe potentially on the surface looked like it was an ideal connection, looked on the surface like it was something that had long-term possibilities, ultimately came to an end because things weren't aligned, and it speaks to a disconnection. So your energy still being focused on that, whether that's very recent or whether it's something from the past, it's preventing you from being able to surrender the specific outcome. I was picking this up. I feel very much like a lot of you are looking at one particular person and you're trying to make this one particular person in this one particular relationship ultimately work out to be the ideal relationship for you. But maybe they are the one and maybe they're not. The only way, think about it this way, the only way that you can truly know for sure if that person is the ideal match for you, is the one, okay, is if you say to the universe, make it work with the person who is meant to be for me, the person who is the easiest for me to have this type of connection with, the person who's going to show up and put in as much work as I will, the person who's going to be able to survive the ups and downs, and ultimately it's going to make us have a stronger connection. Bring that person to me because that's what I want. If the universe brings in this person again, right? If this person does come back and they seem different and they seem changed, it's because you released the outcome and the universe was able to work with much more. The universe isn't limited, okay? Because you're saying, make it be this person and make it be this week. Okay, well, if that isn't going to work because this person has their own free will, if they haven't done their work, if they haven't had the growth, if they haven't had insight, it's not going to happen. And so then what we translate that into, the reason it starts to get in our way, is when this person doesn't show up, when this person doesn't change, when this person maybe comes back and it's just more of the same crap with this person, we make that mean that we're not meant to have a good relationship. But we're preventing something else or someone else from coming in because we're so fixated on this one particular person, this one particular outcome. So try your best to release that and realize that saying to the universe, bring me a healthy relationship with whoever is like most compatible with me. Yes, it might eliminate this person from the mix, but if it does eliminate that person from the mix, then you know that they weren't ideal for you. It's a way that you can actually trust it and eliminate some of the confusion that happens when we get stuck on one particular person. Okay, let's take a look at what's on your mind this week. So you have the Four of Wands here. No, sorry. This deck is new, and it's, for some reason, I think the lines on it just makes it so hard for me. You have the Nine of Pentacles here, coming out reversed. Oh, this is going to be a heavy reading. So let's talk about the Nine of Pentacles. When this card is reversed, it represents being in a situation where we're really over investing in something. We're putting in a ton of work. We're putting in a lot of effort. It's very like frantic and there's like a hustle type of energy to it. We're really trying to make something work. We're really trying to make something happen. We're giving it our all to the point that we're giving too much of ourselves. We're really in a situation in which we're not focusing on pretty much anything else. We're focusing solely on this one thing that we're trying to make work. And I feel very much like it's connected to this right? This 10 of Cups coming out, and your mind is focused on like, I'm going to keep going. I'm going to give, I'm going to do this. I'm going to try this. I have to make this work. It's not a good place to be mentally. Even if this is a situation in which you're just under the gun with actual work, since this is the Pentacle card coming out, even if that's what this represents to you, it's too much. It's an over investment. You're putting in more than you need to. You're worrying too much about things. You're not realizing that you can pull your energy back a little bit and still end up having good success. Okay, so your mind is really forcing you to be in a situation where you're giving more energy than is necessary to something, whether that's to memories of this person, to an active relationship that needs to come to a close, or just your own work commitments. You're just overdoing it. Okay, I don't dig this in terms of your mind being in this place, because it feels very fixated. It feels very frantic and chaotic to me, and there's tons of pressure that's associated with it. Let's take a look at what's in your heart. You have Temperance here, which has come out reversed. Wow, you guys are really going to give me a heavy reading here. So Temperance, when it's reversed, represents things that are in extremes. They're in excess. They're not balanced. There's a need when Temperance comes out reversed to look at things and realign, rebalance things. Realize that you're giving too much to some situations and it's causing you to sacrifice other situations. When this comes out in the situation of what's going on in your heart, it would represent someone who knows internally that something is not right, that something is not working, but they are so stuck in their mind about it that they just feel like they can't disconnect their heart from it, even though it feels very unbalanced and it feels very like it's draining, it's taxing, it's pulling more and more, it's requiring more and more energy and more effort than what it's giving to you. But you just cannot manage to find the balance internally to get your mind off of it. And so your heart is sort of the prisoner of this situation. Okay? This card, I'm going to go back to it because it says, in the moment I embrace my peace and surrender the outcome. It doesn't say the moment that it's not a past tense thing. This is what you're being called to do this week. You have to embrace the peace within you of just being okay on your own. Realizing that you have to build a life that feels good, that feels safe, that feels secure by yourself. And then if someone comes in and they don't disrupt that and they add to it in some way, they make it even better than it already is, then that person gets to stay. Okay? But someone else coming in isn't going to fix that. Someone else can't make you feel safe. Someone else coming in can't make you feel secure. You feel that internally because you allow yourself to feel it. This situation with the 10 of Cups reversed isn't going to create that. It's, if anything, it's adding more of this imbalance into your life. Let's take a look here at what's guiding you. We'll wrap up this section. Okay. So what's guiding you is the 2 of Cups. What's really currently pushing you and motivating you and where you're trying to get yourself is finding that very unified connection, that partnership where it's balanced, it's mutual. It's something that you know where you stand with a person and they know where you stand in regards to them. There's trust, there's communication, there's love. This represents a true divine partnership, a true deep spiritual love. That's what's motivating you, that's what's guiding you. But inside your heart, it's unbalanced. In your head, you're realizing that you're just feeling like you have to give and give and give and give and give, and you're not getting things back. And you're coming to that realization that this relationship that you're in, or this relationship that you're focused on, is not this. I know this video is going to get tons of thumbs down already, but I'm going to be very honest with you. Okay? You have to find a way of realizing that getting to this, the universe wants to give you this. The universe, this is right above this. This is what's guiding you. The universe wants to lead you to this. But you have to surrender the outcome of who this is with. I'm not saying it absolutely can't be with this person from the past. I'm not saying that. but you have to surrender it being that person. You have to surrender that attachment to it being this particular person and shift it instead to saying, I want this. I will not settle for anything that isn't this, because this is ultimately what's guiding me. I want the Two of Cups. If this person shows up and they're really changed and they're really willing to put it in, this won't feel like the Ten of Cups reversed. It'll feel like the Ten of Cups upright. But these two cards are in conflict. This card is what's actively in your way of getting to this. Okay? So I just have to be honest about the cards as I see them. So I just know, as soon as some people don't even watch the video, I post videos sometimes and the title alone gets a thumbs down because someone is just triggered by whatever the title is. But in this situation, I don't do this to try to give people fluff and what they want to hear. That's not why I do it. If I feel like the reading, the cards are saying that the person that you're focused on is good for you, I'll say that. If I feel like the cards are being very clear in saying this is not balanced, it's causing issues inside your heart, it's making you feel crazy in your head because you're giving and giving and giving and giving and giving and having to put in all this work and having to make apologies and try to keep things from getting chaotic and trying to prevent someone from being angry because this relationship isn't working or this person has cut things off and gone away and you're so frantically trying to get them to come back and pay attention to you. The truth of the situation is the Two of Cups, you don't have to fight for that person's attention. You don't have to beg them to talk to you. You don't have to beg them to listen or communicate. You don't have to chase them. That's the truth about a true love. That person wants to be with you. They want to actually be engaged. So if that's not happening, then either that person is not yet ready for this type of relationship, you are not yet ready for this type of relationship, or this person is not the right one. Those are the only three options. And with those three options, what you have to do is figure out how to move yourself forward and start living a life and building a life that feels secure and stable and balanced. Both of the people in this type of relationship could stand on their own and be okay. They don't see each other as being a solution that's going to make their life feel better. They see the other person as someone that they get to share an amazing life with, because both people are healthy, both people are secure, both people are stable. Okay? I think it's very important that for those of you listening to me that you hear that and that you realize that you're deserving of this and the universe wants to bring it to you. But the thing that's blocking it is being so fixed on the outcome in regards to this person. So let's take a look here at the overall energy for the week. Now that we see what's going on for you, let's see how the week's going to feel energetically. You have the Hierophant coming out. So a couple of things in regards to this Hierophant. The Hierophant represents things that are traditional, things that are, they fit the mold of what is expected. Okay, it's tradition. The other thing that the Hierophant represents is spiritual wisdom, spiritual knowledge. It can represent a spiritual leader or someone who helps in terms of your spirituality or your like your emotional well-being. So for some of you, you're just going to realize there are a couple of things here energetically. For some of you, you're going to realize that what this Two of Cups is for you is something that's very traditional. This would mean there's romance, there's dating, there's an evolution of the relationship. You want to ultimately get married, right? That's something that is a demand. And for those of you that's what you come to the realization of this week, that you want that traditional type of relationship, you'll realize that this particular relationship didn't allow for that. So it could be that this person didn't want to get married, or this person doesn't want kids, or this person, they don't believe in the institution of something that's a traditional type of romantic relationship. That's for some of you. For others of you, what this week is going to bring into your energy is an understanding that you have to connect into your own spirituality. You have to unlock something internally, and it might lead you to someone who becomes an advisor, a spiritual advisor, or a spiritual leader, or a spiritual teacher for you. Now, that could be from watching YouTube videos, it could be from a friend suggesting a book, watching some sort of TED talk even, but something comes in energetically that either helps you to understand that you're a bit more traditional than you've thought in the past, or comes in to help you understand the spiritual aspects of this. It could be both for some of you. Okay, but this card just represents being in a place where you're really starting to get clear in terms of what matters to you, what's important to you, what is going to make you personally feel secure, make you feel stable, specifically in regards to this, wanting this connection and really being unable to shift out of this old one. The other thing I want to say here before moving on is that embracing the peace and surrendering the outcome, this does not mean that you just stop trying to manifest. You toss out everything and just say, well, all right, just do whatever you want in my life. That's not what I'm saying here. When you actually start to investigate and study spirituality, what you realize is that the what we want our life to look like, that's where we have control. That's where we can actually start to say prayers or do visioning or try to manifest things, is in the what. What do you want? Who, when, why, those things, like when we add those on top, they're actually doing more harm than good. Okay, so that's really what's coming in here with the Hierophant, is that you start to get a better understanding of how spirituality works, and you realize that you really have been too focused on the outcomes, and that's prevented you from having access to a lot of things that you could potentially have be presented to you from the universe. Now let's move into these cards. These cards are a little bit heavier just in terms of what they're assigned, because this is what's going to heal, lessons that you learn, clarity that you gain, and what to take with you from the week. So this reading has already been pretty heavy just in terms of the cards that have come out. So I would love to see these cards get a little bit lighter, but we'll see what comes out. So let's take a look at what's going to heal for you. So you have the Hermit coming out here. Now, what's interesting is the Hermit, when it's upright, represents being in a place where you're really just doing some soul searching. It's a very introspective type of energy, but it's not withdrawn and isolated. When this card's reversed, it represents someone who's just taken that to the extreme and they've cut off all their connections. They're not returning phone calls. They're not responding to texts. They're not interacting with people. They've really sort of withdrawn their energy in an unhealthy way. It's good here because in terms of what heals, I feel like this is you actually giving yourself permission to do this. It's you giving yourself permission to just be with yourself and to listen to your inner guidance. Okay, these two cards coming out here with the overall energy and what's going to heal, I like this. Because this means that you're giving yourself the permission to just tune in, to be by yourself, to enjoy some solitude, to take your energy out of this. This to me represents pulling your energy away in a very healthy manner, and in a way that's really supported with lots of spiritual support. And finding healing around the situation by getting your energy back. Oftentimes when we're throwing so much of our energy out at another person or another situation or something that we want, we're just giving all of our energy away. And then we don't feel stable, we don't feel secure because our energy is thrown out to the wind in these like futile attempts to make something solidify. So when you actually take the time to pull your energy back in, you just start to feel more secure. You start to feel more stable. You start to feel like you have some reserves to actually start to think about what you want instead of what you've been dealing with. Okay, let's take a look at the lesson that you learned this week. You have the Sun of Pentacles. This is the Knight of Pentacles. It's come out reversed. This Knight of Pentacles represents a stuck energy. I think you're just going to learn that you've kept yourself stuck. You've kept yourself stuck in this because of this focus on the outcome. And when you get to that point where you realize that, when you realize that you've actively been keeping yourself stuck here, even though you've been trying to get to here, and you realize that this is not this, that's a huge lesson for you. That realization that you've put in so much work and you've put in so much effort and you've put in so much time and so much hope and so much energy around something that isn't ultimately what you truly want. Now, again, doesn't mean this person can't ever be that, but they're not that right now. Okay? And you've been settling for this when you've been wanting this. Let's take a look here at the clarity that you gain. The Lovers. Now, I love that this card has come out in terms of the clarity that you gain, because what I sense is that you actually get understanding about what this is for you, how this looks for you, what's important for you around this. You get clarity and insight through what's guiding you, through this closure, through taking the time to reevaluate things, pull your energy back in, realize that you've been stuck focusing on something that doesn't align to what you ultimately want, right? All of this is energy flowing to getting clarity around what it is that represents a true, deep, spiritual, divine connection for you. This is the type of relationship, the type of love that is, there's a harmony. The two people, what they want, their values align. They want to create the same type of relationship. They want to create the same type of future. There isn't conflict in this type of relationship. Okay? All that I was saying about having to like chase and beg for attention, that doesn't happen here. It's not to say that this is perfect, because there is no such thing as a perfect relationship. But when these two people, Two of Cups, the Lovers, when these two people are dealt a blow, when they have something that is, an obstacle or something that gets in the way, or they have some sort of bump in the road, this relationship is two people who figure out how to navigate that in a way that makes them stronger, not in a way that rips them apart and leaves both people broken. Okay? Now, I can sense from some of you that you're going to push back on this and say, but you have the Two of Cups and you have the Lovers coming out, and that means this person's meant to be. No, because this is what's guiding you. It's not what you have. This is not even what's in your heart. Your heart's confused. Your mind is overwhelmed. This is how you're being guided. This is what you get clarity on. Okay? You have to remember that each of these things, I'm going to put it back up here for you really quickly, each of these things was assigned a very specific meaning. Okay? What's in your way, what's blocking you, is this Ten of Cups reversed. So this is not a traditional tarot spread where you're just looking at the cards that are there and trying to figure out the story. Each of these has a very clear definition. And when this card comes out in terms of where you gain clarity, it means that you gain insight, you get clarity around this particular thing in comparison to what's in your way. Okay? So again, you might not like this reading, but very clearly to me, this is a situation in which you're selling yourself short and you're not realizing that you have to shift things and open yourself up to being able to receive this before it can actually come into your life and be something that you have. Now let's take a look here. This represents what to take with you. You have the Four of Swords here coming out reversed. The Four of Swords, when it's reversed, represents really being done with something, being completely at the end of your ability to put effort into it, exhausted. It can represent being in a very, very deep contemplation around a situation. And I do feel like this is the vibe, this is the energy that you will take with you as this week comes to a close. Because you're going to realize, again, that you've been in your own way. You've been stuck. You've allowed your energy to be taken hostage by this situation, and it's been blocking you from being able to progress on this path and ultimately be guided through the healing and understanding that needs to happen by being on your own, being by yourself, acknowledging you've been keeping yourself locked into something that isn't working out, and ultimately getting clarity on what it is that you want to create, what type of relationship you really want. And it's going to leave you in a place where I do feel you cutting your energy off and being done with the situation. There is a bit of like stagnant energy here, and I think it's just because this isn't going to close out in a week. This is something that will go into the next week, and you'll have to deepen your understanding of it and do a little bit more work. But I do sense progress here, and that makes me happy, because at the beginning of the reading I was actually a little bit concerned because this energy just feels so stifled. But as you move forward, there is a closing out, and then it just becomes like you have to deal with it, right? If you're so actively in this relationship, it's something that you need to close. If it's something where you're still putting effort and energy into it, you're still sending text, you're still trying to get that communication to happen, you have to force yourself to stop. You have to start moving on from it. You have to release the outcome. Okay? Let's take a look at the guidance and advice, wrapping up the week here. So I'm spirit having a human experience, and I'm here to get closer to love. You're here to get closer to love. Right? Your spirit having a human experience, but ultimately your goal is to try to move yourself closer to love. So, Taurus, this reading has been fairly heavy, and in an ideal world, I would just deliver, rainbow glitter readings for everyone all the time, and everyone would be happy, and the world will be a better place. But sometimes we're in situations that are heavy, we're in situations that are deep, and we need someone to just be real with us, and that's what I try to do. So I know some of you love that. Some of you really appreciate the fact that I don't sugarcoat things, and I don't hold back in situations where I feel like the truth needs to be spoken. I do feel very often that, Taurus, you guys get some of my heavier readings and some of the harsher readings. But I think that's because sometimes you need someone who's willing to stand up to you and say, look, I want better for you. Want better for yourself. Want better for yourself. I think I might title the video that, because why not just piss people off right away from the description alone? So I think that's what I will call this. You know already if I did. But yeah, want better for yourself, because you deserve it. You deserve to be happy. You deserve to have a healthy relationship. You deserve to have someone who is there for you that you can count on. And if the person that is in front of you, or the person who you've just closed things out with, wasn't doing that, release it. Want better for yourself. Taurus, I love you guys. Hopefully next week's reading, the energy feels a little bit lighter. You are going to be able to move through this, and you do have a ton of support, and you do have a lot of potential for something big once you do this healing. But just keep in mind, keep moving yourself closer to true, real, dependable love. I'll see you guys next week.